Hello, here I have an Eberspacher D5Z-F diesel model that I stripped out of my car initially because it wouldn't work, and there was the control module was faulty on it. So I stripped out the control module and I removed all the silicone gel. That's the kind of damp proof, heat resistant gel that they put around the control module, around the electronics of the control module. And it was initially coming up with the dosing meter short to ground, dosing fuel pump short to ground. So I stripped all the silicone protective gel from around the IC and touched up the IC that controls the driver, that is the driver controller for the fuel pump, and it seemed to kick it back into life. So I just thought I'd put this video together for people who can take it out of their car and need to know how to wire it up to bench test it. So I purchased fuel pump on eBay from some people in Turkey. I can't remember the name, or Heaters for You actually is the name of the company. Heaters for You with the number 4 for you. And it came, he said it would do, and it did. This end pipe is a small bit big, but managed to get some silicone tubing to fit over it. Basically I'm going to hook a battery up to the connector on this normally goes into the car, this connector. I removed this back off the connector here to make things a bit more obvious, so you can see the colours of the connectors. The brown is ground or battery negative, the red is battery positive, the green is the signal or the voltage to the fuel pump, the blue is D plus, I believe is D plus, so that it knows when the car is when the ignition is on in the car. When that goes high, or 12 volts, it signals the control module to say that it's okay to work. The blue and white is not needed for a bench test. I think that's the diagnosis wire that you hook up to the diagnostics unit. The yellow is for the outside temperature sensor. It when that goes high, it tells the unit that the outside temperature is after getting below 10 degrees, 11 degrees. So it tells the control unit that it's time to heat up the water or the coolant in the car, and it's time to turn on. That's the one I use for switching. I'm using the yellow through a switch through plus 12 volts here. This is my plus 12 volts here. So I'll just hook up there now. Just hook up that. So that's the battery hooked up. So when I switch the yellow terminal, it will simulate an outside temperature going between we'll say 10 degrees below, or 10 degrees Celsius. So that tells the unit control to turn on. I've just hooked up the little LED through a resistor on that yellow control through to ground, just to tell me that I have it switched on. So the connections are, as you might be able to see, kind of hard to Shoot, no, this one here is ground or brown. This one over here is red or positive or plus 12 volts. This is the green here. It goes into the green pin, and it just goes straight onto the dosing pump. And the other side of the dosing pump goes to ground. And I have all these spliced onto the ground wire here. And the yellow is going through a switch onto 12 volts. So hopefully when I press the switch on the 12 volts, that the 12 volts will come through onto the controller and tell it it's time to go. So my water pump, I don't have an actual official 12 volt water pump for this, so instead I'm using a drill powered water pump or fluid pump. So after about 20 seconds of the unit running, I'm going to switch that on, and I'm going to turn off the audio on the video so that it won't deafen anybody. Might replace some music or something. And I'll show you the temperature rising. It's on the outside one because I have the outside thermostat or thermocouple, which is getting nicely brown. Just dipped in the water there. So it's the outside temperature should be running up. The inside temperature in the garage is 8 degrees and the water temperature is 12 degrees. So here we go, switch on. You see the light is after coming on, and initially it'll do it does a burn chamber clean out. It turns on the fan for about 5 seconds, and now the glow plug is operating. And though you can't see it, I have no LED to show that the glow plug is operating. And now you'll hear the fuel pump starting off. You'll see hopefully some bubbles flowing through there. So the smoke coming out. So we have ignition. You can hear the fuel pump. The motor, the air motor, the blower motor will gradually ramp up in speed, and the dosing meter will ramp up in speed to match the air blower. I'm just going to switch on the water now. Oops. Water coming out of the bucket into the pump, back into the unit, back out here again, and go past here. So you should see the temperature start to rise now shortly. Okay, now the pump has gone into slow mode. It's pumping about one click every second or less, or once every 0.5 of a second maybe. Oh, the water's after getting very hot. It should be up to about 80 degrees. And you'll see shortly, at least that's why I have my finger on it, that it will stop pumping altogether. You might be able to see some bubbles there still. Now it's stopped altogether. Dosing pump has stopped. The burner now is going into kind of shutdown mode. It's just burning out any of the rest of the fuel that's in there. I'm going to run this for another second because I can hear it. Just hear boiling inside there a small bit. I forgot to mention that my thermometer only goes up to 60.5 degrees and it goes into overheat then, so shows you that it gets up to 65 degrees anyway. It should go to 85 degrees before this shuts down. It knows that it's hot enough and it doesn't need to work anymore. So even if it's still in the operation mode, if it says that it's minus 10 degrees centigrade outside, that if the water's hot enough it still won't work, or it won't work at that stage. It says there's no need to. So the blower is still blowing out the remainder of the exhaust gases. This is the air intake and this is the exhaust. You can feel the air being blown out here. Okay. And now it's after shutting down, saying that's after going through a cycle. It doesn't need to operate anymore. So now I'm just going to switch off that. Just going to run some water through it. So I'm not sure how much water is in there. Maybe 500 ml, maybe 1.5 litre, 2 litres of water in there. So it took that amount of time to heat up to 85 degrees. So that concludes. Just once more, it's not crystal clear. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 connections you need to make to get this to run out off the car. That's ground, which is brown, power, which is red, the metering pump. This blue wire has to be connected to plus 12 volts, and the yellow is I like to call it the switch line. You can connect that just straight up to 12 volts as well. Before I put in this switch, I used to just plug that what do you call that, spade in and out just to turn it on and off. And that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 connections, and it'll run on the bench. Okay, thank you.